Good afternoon. This is Rich Vernadeau on Rich Live number 2. This is the second episode, and today, yes, today I have someone here in the studio, one of my co-executive producers, and we're going to be going on this new book that I've done a podcast about, and I've done a couple. Absolutely, and I've done a couple of shows, but this time we're doing live, and this is 2,000 Things to Do Before You Die. Now, obviously, not everybody can do all of them. And the guy that wrote this book, his name is Dane Sherwood. I want to give him credit here. Fantastic book. It's a massive list of different things that you might want to do. Some of them you may already have done. Some of them I will do. Some of them I have done. At any rate, he's going to call them out, and I'm going to react to my response. If I've done it, I'll tell you guys that I did it. If I haven't done it, I'll tell you if and when I ever would, and why or why not I might or might not do it. So here they come. Here we go. All right, hit me with it, Trent.
Own a ferret.
Own a ferret? No, a neighbor did once, and I saw that animal get out loose. It was actually Father Jensen's daughters who had that, Margaret and Mary. It bit a neighbor, and that was kind of a little neighborhood scandal back in the 80s, but that's what I'll let that one die.
You know, the good thing about ferrets and Margaret is you wouldn't be able to tell how much the ferret stinks.
Well, we're just not going to get into that. Okay, go ahead, proceed.
Pose for a full-page ad.
Well, I guess it would depend upon the nature of the ad. You know, I mean, if we're talking about a Marky Mark Calvin Klein underwear ad type thing, or are we talking about a Brooks Brothers suit type $300 suit? What are we talking about?
Brooks Brothers suit is not $300 fucking.
What are they now? More like $1,000? What are they?
More than $1,000.
Okay, all right. Well,
$300 is not an expensive.
Sometimes you can find good Neiman Marcus suits at Goodwill. Just saying. Just saying.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
All right, hit me with the next one, Trendy.
Go down in a submarine.
You know what? I would get claustrophobic, honestly, in a submarine. I would keep thinking, what if something goes wrong and we sink? And I've seen too many movies where the submarines get in trouble, you know, and there's some horrible story.
You ain't jumping off a submarine underwater.
You got that right. You're drowning. You're going down. It's going to be Titanic all the way if a submarine springs a leak. But and in fact, there's some horrendous, horrible story you've probably heard about some small, tight, very cramped Civil War submarine that was built by the South that sank with everybody in it, and they're just in there, and they couldn't have lived more than a few hours because there wasn't enough air. And
I have heard of that,
and I don't remember the name of it, but it's just some horrible thing. So I hate to think about submarines. Okay, on to something more positive.
Well, rage against the dying of the light.
Quote from a poem. Wish I could tell you the poem and the poet, but it is. I like it. Rage against the dying of the light. Yes, I like that. And as a matter of fact, it might even be Robert Frost, but I'm not going to swear to it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I think you're right. I think it was Robert Frost. I'll definitely research it after this show. Believe that.
I'm wrong all the time, but I want to say Robert Frost.
Yeah. All right. On with the next one.
All right. Rescue a kitten from a burning building.
Geez. Yeah, I probably would, but I know firemen that would do it more readily and more quickly and more efficiently and probably more successfully than I would. At any rate, yes, it's a noble thing to rescue a kitten from a burning building.
I mean, there's no description on how burning it has.
We don't know the age or size of the cat. We don't know that, it might be one of those big
hands and,
might be one of those terrible California fires like they have all the time.
Catch Wayne Newton's act in Vegas.
That I haven't done. I'd like to go to Vegas. Haven't been there yet. Know a lot of people who have. I know Wayne Newton's been playing one of the casinos forever. And it is supposed to be one of the good shows.
Have a private audience with the Pope or the Queen.
You know what? I think that would be interesting. I think it would be an experience to have. Absolutely.
I'd love it on my fucking resume.
Okay.
All right. Wear scanties.
Well, I'm not so sure I'm quite ready for that.
What the hell's a scanty?
That's what I'm saying. No, not completely.
But you're ready for the definition.
I'm ready for the definition, but maybe not the experience.
All right. Try a Krispy Kreme fresh from the oven.
I'll bet that would be good. I'll bet a hot fresh, yes. Especially with hot coffee early in the morning for breakfast. Absolutely.
They melt in your mouth. Man, the first time I went to Krispy Kreme with my father, I was a young lad of,
Indeed.
Young, I don't fucking know. We killed a dozen before we left the parking lot.
Well, there you go. A dozen. All right.
Yeah, boy. All right. So, reread books from your childhood?
You know what? I read Stephen King's The Stand 3 different times at different stages in my life. And let me tell you, it just gets better. And you just get more out of it each time you read it. And I could do that. It would depend on the book, of course. And I'm sure a lot of people have done that.
Now, this one I bet you've done. Find a masterpiece at a garage sale.
You know what? I think I have found some really nice paintings before, yes, at garage sales, yard sales, and then turn around and sold them. But there is an actual case here in town, and I do not know the artist. I wish I did, where something original, something like a Picasso, something on that order, was discovered and purchased here at a yard sale. It was an estate sale, actually. Well, after it got sold for some astronomical price, unfortunately, the person who bought it didn't keep their mouth shut, and there was a lot of attendant publicity. So the family of the deceased person decides they're going to sue the person for getting this piece of artwork that was worth this enormous amount, and they only paid like $20 or $40 for it, and then it ended up being.
How can they sue?
Correct. And I don't even know how that turned out, other than I know it got a lot of press when it was going on. It happened sometime in the 90s. I can find out. I know
I'm
a man.
interested to know.
I know a man who knows a lot of the details. I'll ask him.
Yes, ask him. Find out. let's put a pin in that.
Yes, dude. We'll definitely go back to that, and I might do a show about that once I find out more about it.
All right. So let's see. What's a good one?
Yes, indeed. And by the way, anybody who happens to be watching now, remember you can chat. You can say something, make a comment, ask a question. I'll read it on the air. I'll respond to it.
If you have an opinion or something you'd like to add to the list, go ahead and let us know.
Tell us what you'd like to do, some of the things you want to do before you die.
Like make some mean old sourpuss laugh.
Ah, indeed. A noble goal.
A noble goal. Seneca once said, "Our care should not be to have lived long, but to have lived long enough."
I can see that. I think there's a point at which longevity might reach a point where your quality of life is no longer there. And then the question becomes, well, does a guy who's just going to be confined, for example, to a bed and be immobile, maybe be a vegetable, does that person really want to continue existing? Because that's all it is. It's existing. It's not really living.
Existing is not living, correct.
That's right. So quality of life must be important.
Who in their right mind, when given the option of eating pancakes or living life, would choose pancakes?
I'm telling you, living life is much better than eating pancakes.
Well, I think that answer would be inexplicably contingent upon the quality of the pancakes and the type of life being lived.
Well, and if you're living a quality life, you're having some decent pancakes. Let me add that.
Pancakes add to my quality of life. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
You're damn right.
You might be having crepe Suzette.
Well, that's not a pancake, but anyway. Oh, God, they have a quote from Albert Camus. Oh,
hey, Albert
Camus. My own heart.
One of the fathers of existentialism.
He's the father of absurdism.
Absurdism. Yes, he was.
He was with
he knew a lot of the existentialists. Yes. Influenced
good
by
friends with the father of existentialism.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. I know of only one duty, and that is to love.
Love it. And I think if all of us remembered that, I mean, it'd make the world a much better place.
Oh, God, it would.
Wouldn't it, though?
Would.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So, lose yourself in the masses.
I think we've all had moments where we want to just wander off in the crowd, get lost shopping, get lost in a mall, get lost on the freeway, where you can daydream and have your thoughts, and it's nothing but complete strangers around you. I think we all like to get lost in the masses sometimes.
Do you still feel alone when you're lost in the masses?
Oh, it depends. Sometimes maybe if you want to be alone. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
You can attain some anonymity.
You can. Desire. And that sometimes is good.
Khalil Gibran says that work is love made visible.
Oh, I love it. He had lots of good quotes. My mom liked him. And in fact, my dad took a picture of a woman holding a Khalil Gibran book one time. And I think I might have mentioned this before. Father Jensen's wife, June, was big into Khalil Gibran. And she had The Prophet and a bunch of other works he did.
Oh, nice.
And he was, Persian, which, basically is Iranian. And a lot of the stuff was written around the turn of the century. And Khalil Gibran was a philosopher. And a lot of the stuff he said, like, there's the family that you're born into, and then there's the family that you create on your own, which is composed of the friends that you go out and meet.
What time period is that?
I'm going to say late 1800s, early 1900s. I think he probably might have been around into the 20s or 30s, but it's been about a century ago.
He was an enlightened cat.
Yes, he was. He was enlightened, yes.
All right. Buy a sex toy.
Well, I've ordered them for people before in the past. You know what I mean?
Yes, air quotes with people.
Indeed.
Yeah, I've actually been to the Vibrator Museum in San Francisco.
How interesting.
It is interesting. It is interesting. Of course, they just want to peddle fucking sex toys.
Of course, but
they
that's
have
an
the
industry in and of
oldest vibrator.
itself.
That's a fucking, it's a giant suitcase that you carry
Well,
around.
you know what? I mean, that's an industry that's been around for a while.
Pleasures the cleats.
Indeed.
Sleep with a ghost in the room.
I've known people who've done that. I may have done so and not knowingly realized it, I guess, depending upon, you know, but yeah, probably. But, you know, many people there's a woman who's been on my call-in talk show that I air on Saturday nights, you know, that's called Researcher 135's Community Call. Yeah. It's on www.talkshoe.com. And by the way, Saturday night, Wendy Rose Williams is a return guest.
No fucking way.
She's got a new book out, by the way, and she's had several different ones, and she's been on my show many times. So let's have a shout out for favorites. Wendy Rose Williams, who's going to be there, and that's on Saturday, February the 23rd, I believe it is, which is it's this coming Saturday, coming just a few days from now. But anyway, back to the woman who was on my show a couple of weeks ago. Her name is Danya Wiccan, and she has a disembodied spirit that lives in her house. His name is Ben, and her website is known as thezenofben.com, and it's a wonderful show, and Ben communicates with her, and then she writes or types up what he's telling her, and a lot of it is really cool stuff, and Ben's a really cool guy with a sense of humor. So we're talking about a Casper the Friendly Ghost with a sense of humor living right there in your house. Kind of cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Yes, it is.
As long as she forgets her meditation.
All right, hit me up with another one.
Read Lady is that Chatterley? Yeah.
Yes.
Chatterley's Lover.
Okay, that's a book that was banned in the United States for a long time for being pornographic and for being obscene, but yet it's a classic in Europe and very popular in Europe. But it's D.H. Lawrence, and it's called Lady Chatterley's Lover.
It's a great book. It's a wonderful
absolutely, and so it's one of those, you know, quote groundbreaking type books that, because of the censorship factor, raised a lot of feathers and raised a lot of people's ire, but it's an enduring classic. You know, the Marquis de Sade wrote a bunch of books that are classics now. You know.
All right, buy a $100 bottle. That is actually very intimate. Buy a $100 bottle of wine and share it with your oldest friends.
That would be great. Mm-hmm. You know, have this nice little quiet get together with just a select number of friends. Mm-hmm. Break out that $100 bottle of wine. Ah, yes. Now that's quality living.
That is correct. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's one thing I love about Napa. Oh my God.
Yes.
Become a Monty Python expert.
That'd probably be fun. I've watched a lot of Monty Python stuff. You know, there was The Search for the Holy Grail or something like that. There's a lot of Monty Python stuff, and it was even a show.
Holy Grail. Yeah.
And you know, British comedy is a little different. British comedy.
It is certain type. I don't want to say types because I mean, for lack of a better word, but there's something like, okay, I would play Wallace and Gromit, for example, for my children.
Yes.
You know, they love Wallace and Gromit. I love Wallace and Gromit. But there are a lot of things that most people like, and I can't stand. Faulty Towers is one British show that I do enjoy.
You know, PBS here in the United States used to air Monty Python once a week, and that went on for years. Okay. I don't know that it's gone on recently, but it did for a long, long time. And of course, they're available, a lot of them on DVD and online, I'm sure.
Grow and Amaryllis.
I'm not even sure exactly what that is.
I'm not either.
That's another one I'll have to do my research on.
There's a lot of research.
All right.
A lot of research to be done.
Trent, it looks like we have time for 3 more, and then we'll have to wrap the show up.
Smoke a big fat cigar.
Yes.
Filled with whatever you want.
And, well, one of those imported cigars, maybe one of those nice Cuban cigars that's technically illegal or whatever, and always have a humidor, of course.
They're technically illegal, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. I think, the boycott against Cuba finally got released after 40 years or something? Maybe. I don't know. I think it was. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe you can import Cuban cigars now. You can, possibly. I hope so. It would stimulate the Cuban economy, I'm sure.
A gentleman, a neighbor of mine who was in the Army came back overseas one day and brought me a couple Cubans.
Oh, look at you. I'll tell you what.
People like me. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. You know, that Cuban cigar and the bottle of $100 wine, and then your evening is set.
It's a pretty good. Well,
actually, would pretty
at the same time.
Might be
actually ruin the
well, yeah, they'd want to be done separately and not simultaneously. Indeed,
but I mean, have some wine.
Certain pleasures in life must be savored separately.
That's correct. Perform with your band at Jim Morrison's grave.
That might be interesting. If I could get my band together,
absolutely ruined the Lizard King's grave. It's fucked up. I don't appreciate it.
And now, viewing audience, our last and final of 2001 things you would do before you die. Here's the last one.
Eat pufferfish sushi.
I don't know about that, but I think if the Japanese delicacy pufferfish isn't prepared right, it can be poisonous. So you're kind of like gambling with your life there.
Correctly, then the venom will seep in to the meat and kill you.
Jeez. Well, I don't know if I'm ever going to try that fish or not. Trent, thank you for this. We've enjoyed it. And audience, thank you. And there will be more. This has been episode number 2 of Rich Live on YouTube.